This is a clip from one of our most recent episodes. For full episodes and more, please check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, and YourVibesPodcast.com. This episode is brought to you by Sassy Pop Boutique. Sassy Pop is a women's clothing and accessory boutique located inside Mulberry Mill in Dixon, Tennessee. Sassy Pop's fashion professionals help their clients find the right style and fit for all body types and sizes. Whether you are an extra small or a 3XL, Sassy Pop Boutique will have you looking your best for all 4 seasons. Check them out on Facebook at Sassy Pop Boutique and on Instagram at Sassy Pop Boutique Dixon. Or browse their website for 24-hour shopping and shipping anywhere in the United States at sassypopboutique.com. All right, so when did you get hooked up with House of Vines? How did that happen? You've turned that into a great spot.
So whenever I sold the antique mall, I had no idea what I was. Actually, I didn't even think I was going to stay at the antique mall. I was like, I love to write, and I'm not a great singer, but I love to sing. But I really love to write. I love to write anything. I love to write songs, and I thought, well, maybe this will give me the opportunity to kind of record some of my stuff that I've written and maybe pursue that more. And then I ended up working at the antique mall. They're like, hey, we hate doing the bookkeeping. Randy and Kathy Bryan, my dear friends, own it. And actually, I write with Randy some. We just had our first cut. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Like 3 months ago. So I ended up staying there doing their bookkeeping because they literally hated it. They're like, look, we'll pay you really good money if you'll stay and do the bookkeeping. I'm like, well, okay, let me see how this is going to work. I'd been literally doing it on paper, and you're talking 100 vendors in this store by hand on paper for years. And they're like, how are you even doing this? I'm like, I just do it. I've done it for so long. And they built me this nice computer program and all this fancy stuff that I never had. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I was working for them, and about 2.5 years in, Dan and Sharon approached me. They had bought a building downtown and said, and I knew they were kind of mulling around what to do with it. They took me over, and I had told you, like, I used to be a decorator. I still kind of do it a little bit, but they're like, we're thinking of putting a wine bar here. What do you think? Do you think Dixon is ready? I'm like, yeah, I do. Can't even open a bottle of wine with a cork. I mean, it has to be, but yeah, I think they're ready. Let me decorate it. And I literally standing there could see this big empty square, like what it was going to look like. I said, oh, let's do this. Let's put an art ledge. We're going to do mix and match everything and da-da-da-da. And they're like, well, here's the thing. We don't just want you to decorate it. We want you to do it because we don't want anything to do with it. And we're not going to do it if you don't do it. I'm like, well, that's no pressure.
None at all.
No pressure. Let me think about that for a minute. So we talked about it and molded around. And hey, by the way, we can have a drink on Main Street. I never thought that would happen. Like 10 years ago, if you would have told me that, I'd be like, y'all are nuts. Mm-hmm. But my generation has come along and took over, and we're like, we're having a drink on Main Street. We're going to get some money, revive this town. But anyway, so I really had to think about it because I didn't want to leave Randy and Kathy.
Sure.
So I've got my good friends over here, Dan and Sharon, my good friends over here. So I had this, nobody knew. I had one friend that I told about it, and he was like, well, just pray about it. And what does your gut tell you? And I'm like, well, why can't I do 2 things? He's like, well, why can't you do 2 things? And so I approached Randy and Kathy that own the antique mall, and I said, look, here's what's happening. I think I can keep doing the bookkeeping if I'm not really scheduled. If you guys will work with me, let's try it a month or 2. Let me just come in and do it because I'm a night owl anyhow.
Yeah.
When I can, and still be able to do the wine bar.
Okay.
And they're like, let's try it. I'm like, okay, well, there's my answer. So I was a nervous wreck, but I was like, let's give it a go because this is something I had a little cafe inside the antique mall, so I was familiar with, the food end of it, but not the rest of it.
There's food in there?
There used to be when I had it. I had a little cafe in there that said about 30 people. Very small, just open on the weekends. Yeah, it was really cool. Live music. They still have the live music there.
Cool.
Yeah. So fun place. But so that was what actually last month was our 2-year anniversary, but there was so much going on we hadn't celebrated. So y'all kind of look on Facebook because we're just going to have a simple celebration, but we'll be celebrating our 2-year anniversary. Made it through the COVID. Yay.
Woo!
But
Thank
it's been
God.
really
Big shout
fun
out to
learning
Dixon
something
for that,
new.
too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because, I mean, we had so much support during that, both the Antique Mall and House of Vines, House of Brews, all the businesses downtown that done curbside. I mean, the customers were so good to us. They really were helping us stay up and running 2 years. But it was fun, and I was like, I don't know anything about wine. The food thing I can do. But the rest of it, and Dan Smith is like, I'll hire people to teach you. I'm like,
Cool.
okay, I can learn something new. The first thing I need to know is how to, use
wine.
a corkscrew, and that's number one. That would be nice. And
So you're a beer drinker by trade, I guess,
Well,
or liquor, or
I'm a vodka girl.
I love vodka. What's your favorite vodka?
I'm not real picky. I like a little Sky, a little Smirnoff.
Okay. Any Tito's?
I love me some Tito's. Yeah,
Tito's is my jam.
I mean,
I've
I
gotten
like me
into
some
Tito's, and so I'm trying to be a little more health conscious about my life. So Tito's, I've been doing Tito's and water with a lime, about a 50-50 split, and the lime cuts it just as good, so there's no hangover.
There you go.
And it goes down a little too easy sometimes. But shout out to Tito's for being so dang smooth too. I'm not picky, but I do only have really one choice. Not choice, but I only really choose one thing typically when it comes to vodka.
Yeah, that's kind of me. Well, not really. I'll drink it. Whatever you got, I'll take it.
Sure.
Yeah, a little splash cranberry, I'm good.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's healthy. Cranberry juice is healthy.
It is, yeah. It's a
Tonic
juice.
water is good for you.
Yeah.
It helps you not to, it's got that quinine in it.
Yeah.
If you can find it with quinine in it.
Yeah. Little pineapple juice every now and then.
Some pineapple juice.
Yeah,
that's
a good
what I'm
beach
saying.
drink right there. Mm-hmm. All right, so they brought in. I always love hearing the stories of, because that's business straight up. Is everybody from the outside looking in always is like, oh, they always, if the business is running well, from the outside looking in, everybody's kind of like, oh, you really know what you're doing, and blah 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 blah. But from the inside looking out, nobody has a fucking clue what's going on. Like a lot of times, like you've got a vision, and yes, you're good at some things, but every day is just something new and a new issue that's got to be resolved or overcome or something like that. And running, especially starting a business, is just complete chaos right off the bat. And you're starting a wine bar, helping run a wine bar, not
even knowing how it's going to go
why.
over. But that's the thing. Dan and Sharon take chances.
Cool.
They always have with this town, and I don't even really think about them being my bosses. They are. Same thing with Randy and Kathy. It was a big deal for me to sell them all, and a big deal for them to buy it. Mm-hmm. But people that take chances on this town, and now look how it's thriving, because really, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, you're taking a big chance on Main Street. Now, oh my God, you can't even get a building down there. Forget it. Mm-mm. It's not happening. We're packed. And I just absolutely love it. And let me tell you what I love about our little town. We all love each other. We all eat each other's restaurants. We shop at each other's store. We support one another. If somebody's got something going down, we all try to help. And I'm getting a little teary-eyed talking about it because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. We're all friends and not competitors. We don't consider each other competition. We want each other. We're right across the street from Lugo's, for heaven's sakes. Mm-hmm. I mean, who can beat them? Little bite of everything. They laughed the other day because this is how lazy I am, which really I couldn't leave. I DoorDashed little bite of everything, which if y'all don't know this is 3 doors down. I'm like, look, y'all, it's worth $3 a tip for me not to have to walk down there to get it.
I bet the DoorDash guy was like, hold on a minute.
He was like, I drove all the way back around. I could have just stayed where I was at. I'm like, you didn't know we were just right up the street? He's like, I'm confused. Why didn't you just walk down there and get it?
Up, go to the end of South Main,
do a whole really leave.
Thanks again to Sassy Pop Boutique for sponsoring this episode. If you are looking for the right fit and style for this upcoming season, feel free to reach out to their fashion professionals on their socials at Sassy Pop Boutique on Facebook and Sassy Pop Boutique Dixon on Instagram, or head on over to their website at sassypopboutique.com for 24-hour shopping and nationwide shipping. If you're interested in sponsoring an episode, please reach out to me directly via email at yourvibespodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and always remember, stay vibey, my friends.